When was the last time you boiled over or flew off the handle? In today's lesson, we will learn expressions related to getting angry. I'm your teacher, Morgan. Let's start learning. Let's start with some phrasal verbs all about getting angry. Our first phrasal verb is to boil over. When you boil over, it's like when a pot has so much water and it's going everywhere all over your stove. That's your anger. This means you get extremely angry or emotional. Let's look at this example. His temper boiled over when he discovered the mistake. Our next phrasal verb is to fly off the handle. This means you get extremely angry without warning. It happens very suddenly. For example, don't mention the topic. He tends to fly off the handle when it's discussed. Our next phrasal verb is blow up. Blow up means to explode with anger. For example, he blew up when he found out they had canceled his reservation. Our next phrasal verb is to lose one's temper. To lose your temper means you become angry or you lose control of your emotions. For example, I'm sorry I lost my temper during the argument. Our next phrasal verb is to hit the roof. Hit the roof means you become extremely angry. For example, when he saw the mess in the kitchen, he hit the roof. Another expression is to see red. Red is a common color to express anger. To see red means you become very angry or furious. For example, I saw red when he criticized my work without reason. Our next phrasal verb is go ballistic. Go ballistic. This means you become angry and you lose control. He went ballistic when he realized he had been double charged. Our next phrasal verb is to flip out. For example, her mom flipped out when she saw the charges on her credit card. She became very angry when she saw her daughter had charged so much on her credit card. Wouldn't that make you angry? Our ninth expression is to take out your anger on someone or something. This means when you get really angry, you direct your anger towards another person, even if they were not the reason you're angry. For example, she was really upset about her car being towed, so she took it out on her parents. It was not her parents' fault, but she treated them badly because she was angry. Now we're going to learn some common idioms to describe anger. Our first idiom is to bite someone's head off. When you bite someone's head off, this means when you're really angry, you respond rudely. For example, don't ask her about it now, she might bite your head off. Our next idiom is to blow a fuse. This means you become very angry. Just like when there's too much power in a fuse, it bursts, right? So if you have too much anger, you can blow a fuse. For example, if you keep teasing him, he's going to blow a fuse. Today, we're talking all things money. My name is Morgan. Let's start learning. First, we will talk about different ways to describe how people spend money. Our first word is frugal. Frugal. This is an adjective to describe a person who is very careful with how they spend their money. These people prioritize values and they don't buy things they don't need. They don't do things they don't need to do. Our next word is penny pincher. This is a penny. A penny pincher is a noun. This is a person who does not like to spend money and tries to save money wherever they can. Even if it means getting a lower quality item, they would rather pay the cheapest price rather than getting something useful and good. We can also say a penny pincher is a cheap person. A cheap person doesn't like to spend money and doesn't care about the quality they're getting. A stingy person, on the other hand, is also not willing to spend money. Stingy. This is the most negative out of all the words we've just learned. A stingy person will not give you money. They will not help you if you need money because they want to save it all for themselves. Our next word is well off. Well off. This is an adjective that means wealthy or having a lot of money. For example, their family is very well off. And the opposite of well off is broke. Broke. If someone is broke, they do not have money, or they do not have enough money to live. Next, we're going to learn some phrasal verbs you can use when talking about money. Our first phrasal verb is cough it up. Cough it up means you give something reluctantly. This means you don't want to, but you are forced to give something. Usually, it's money. For example, he had to cough up $100 to replace the screen on his iPhone. He didn't want to pay that much, but he had to. So he had to cough it up. Our next phrasal verb is get by. If you get by, this means you have enough money to pay your bills, but you don't have any extra money. For example, we are just barely getting by. Our next phrasal verb is put aside. This means you save a certain amount of money every month. For example, I'm putting aside $100 every month to save up for my vacation. Our next phrasal verb is to rip someone off. This means to cheat someone by charging them too much money. You can say, he ripped me off, or you can also say, this car was a ripoff. Here, it means this car was too much money. It was a ripoff. Our next phrasal verb is pay up. Pay up. When you pay up, you owe someone money. This means you need to give someone money that you owe them. For example, I had to pay up $40 for my parking ticket. Our last expression is foot the bill. When you foot the bill, this means you pay for everything. Like he foot the bill for my car. This means he paid for everything. Are you all ears? Hi, my name is Morgan. In today's lesson, we will learn 15 idioms all about your body. Let's start learning. Our first idiom is all ears. This means you are paying very close attention. For example, I'm all ears. Tell me your story. Our next idiom is break a leg. This is what you say to someone when you want to wish them good luck. For example, you're gonna do great in the audition. Break a leg. Our next idiom is to cost an arm and a leg. This means something is extremely expensive. So expensive, you might need to give them your arm and your leg to pay for it. Getting my car repaired is going to cost an arm and a leg. Our next idiom is to give someone a hand, not your literal hand. This means you give someone help or assistance. Can you give me a hand with these groceries? Our next idiom is to keep your chin up. This is your chin. When someone says this, it means you should remain positive even if you're going through a difficult situation. For example, I know things are tough right now, but keep your chin up. Our next one is to get cold feet. This means you get nervous before you do something really important. You can often hear this being used before someone gets married.
The wedding is about to start when Monica gets cold feet. Go!
Another way to use this, I was going to propose, but I got cold feet at the last minute. Our next idiom is to bite the bullet. This means you endure a difficult situation. You might not want to do it, but you do it anyway because you have to. For example, I have to bite the bullet and tell my boss the truth about the mistake. Our next idiom is to stick your neck out. This is your neck. When you stick your neck out, you place yourself in a vulnerable situation. This means you take a risk for the benefit of yourself or someone else. For example, I'm willing to stick my neck out for a chance at success. Our next one is head over heels. This means you are deeply in love with someone. You can also use it when you're very excited. For example, she's head over heels in love with her new job. And now another idiom about your neck. If someone is a pain in the neck, this means they are a very difficult person. It can also be used if something is very difficult or troublesome for you. Dealing with that difficult customer is always a pain in the neck. Our next idiom is to twist someone's arm. When you twist someone's arm, this means you convince someone to do something that they don't want to do. I didn't want to go, but they twisted my arm until I agreed. Our next one is in the flesh. In the flesh means physically in person. I couldn't believe he was here in the flesh after all these years of communicating online. Another idiom with flesh, your flesh and blood means people you are related to or your family. She's not just a colleague, she's flesh and blood. She's my sister. Our next one is to not lift a finger. This means you do not help or you don't put any effort into doing something. He won't lift a finger to help with the project. He's always too busy. And our final idiom is by heart. If you know something or you can do something by heart, you have memorized it. You don't need to look. You don't need any help because you know it perfectly. Do you know all these idioms by heart? Our example for by heart is, I know this song by heart. Great news! You're off the hook. Here are 6 common English idioms I think you should know. First up, we have off the hook. This means you are free from responsibility and you are not in trouble. For example, you have a really boring meeting that you don't need to go to anymore. You can say, I'm off the hook.
Good news is, you're off the hook.
You might also hear this idiom being used for something that is really fun, like that party was off the hook.
This party is gonna be off the hook.
As someone who is 35, I don't say this, but if you hear it, you'll know what it means. Next up, we have out of the woods. This means you have escaped danger or a difficult situation. You often hear this when someone is sick. If they are recovering and getting better, you can say they're out of the woods.
He's out of the woods.
Listen to this example. I'm feeling better, but I'm not completely out of the woods yet. I still need to rest. Next up, we have blow off steam. This means you relieve your stress or frustration. For example, after a long, hard day, I like to blow off steam by watching Netflix or taking a jog in the park. In the comments, tell me, how do you blow off steam?
You just need to blow off some steam.
Next up, we have my neck of the woods. My neck of the woods. This means the area where you live or where you spend a lot of time.
So what brings you to my neck of the woods?
For example, there's a great coffee shop opening up in my neck of the woods. Want to check it out? Next up, we have the clock is ticking. This means time is running out and you need to hurry. For example, my deadline is tomorrow. The clock is ticking. I need to hurry.
The clock is ticking.
And lastly, we have can't wrap my head around something. This means something is difficult for you to understand.
Okay. I can't quite wrap my head around it.
For example, you're trying to do math. I just can't wrap my head around this equation. It's so confusing. A little birdie told me you chickened out. Today, we're learning animal idioms. If you have ants in your pants, that means you are unable to sit still because you either are nervous or excited. She couldn't sit still during the meeting. It was like she had ants in her pants. A fish out of water means you feel uncomfortable in a certain situation, much like a fish would feel if they were out of the water. He felt like a fish out of water at the tech conference because he didn't understand much about technology. Have you ever gone on a wild goose chase? It's not a literal goose. Here, this means you hopelessly pursue something or try to get something with no results. Searching for that old book in the attic was a wild goose chase. We never found it.
Pierce sent us on a wild goose chase.
A little birdie told me, you haven't subscribed yet. This means you receive information from a secretive or confidential source and you don't want to say who told you the information. A little birdie told me that you're planning a surprise party for your sister.
A little birdie told me that one of our guests here.
Hold your horses. This means to wait and be patient and not do something so quickly. Just wait. Hold your horses. We need to wait for everyone to arrive before we start the game. Open a can of worms. This means to start a complicated problem that could grow into an even bigger problem. Bringing up budget issues in the meeting really opened a can of worms.
I want to open a can of worms.
How would that open up a can of worms?
Have you ever had butterflies in your stomach? This means you are very nervous or excited. I always get butterflies in my stomach before giving a big presentation. To chicken out means to decide not to do something because you are afraid. He was going to ask her out, but he chickened out at the last minute.
I knew you'd chicken out.
Chicken out?
When was the last time you went over someone's head? Today, we are learning advanced business idioms. Let's start learning. First up, we have to pull rank. To pull rank means you use your position or your authority to get what you want.
Because I am your boss.
You pulling rank on me?
Like, she didn't want to work overtime, but her manager pulled rank to get her to stay. This means her manager used her authority to get something that she wanted, even though her subordinate didn't want to. Number 2 is to get the ball rolling. This means you start a project.
I'm gonna get the ball rolling, okay?
Like, we need to get the ball rolling on this new marketing campaign. Can you get the ball rolling? Number 3 is very common in speaking and in emails, to touch base.
But we can touch base again next week.
Like, can we touch base later after the meeting? Or let's touch base next week. Touch base means to contact someone. This is usually very briefly to communicate something. Number 4 is to bite the bullet. This means you do something uncomfortable or something you don't want to do because you want to get it over with.
I guess I'll have to bite the bullet.
Like, we just need to bite the bullet and get this started. We can't wait any longer. Number 5 is to keep someone in the loop.
Good. Keep me in the loop on that.
Can you keep me in the loop about this project? To keep someone in the loop means you keep them updated about a project or about information that is changing. Number 6 is to take it offline. Can we take this conversation offline? This means you want to discuss something privately away from a larger group. You use this when you want to have a more private conversation and not in front of everyone. Number 7 is to move the goalposts. This means to change the rules or expectations for something that makes it harder for you to succeed.
Really feels like you're moving the goalpost.
We were about to finish this project, but they moved the goalpost by asking for all these additional features. To move the goalpost means expectations have changed and now it's really difficult to succeed. Number 8 is to put all of your eggs in one basket. This means you rely entirely on one plan for your success.
You ever hear not putting all your eggs in one basket?
Like, we shouldn't put all our eggs in one basket by focusing on one client. We should branch out and contact many people for business. Number 9 is to think outside the box. This means you approach a problem in a new and creative way.
Think outside the box and get them out.
Like, this problem is really difficult, so I think we need to think outside the box to come up with a new solution. Next up, we have the ball is in your court. This means it is up to the other person to make the next move.
Ball's in your court, pal.
Hey.
Like, I've sent them the proposal, now the ball is in their court. This means it is up to them to take action. And finally, we have to go over someone's head. If you have a problem at work, you go over your boss's head and you look for someone who has more authority and more power so they can resolve your issue.
I'm going over Sheila's ass's head.
To go over someone's head means you go to the next person who has more authority. Like, your boss says no to something and you think it's a really good idea, so you go over their head by going to their boss and asking. And I'll see you later. Bye.